Ladies and gentlemen, this is the 12th and final round.
Right hand, Golovkin steps in and down he goes again. Unbelievable. Mayweather makes him pay. What a rookie mistake. A sensational left hook by De La Hoya.
It's facts. I'm the best. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to believe it myself, but it's the truth. I'm the best. I'm going to show you how great I am.
From Southern California, this is the Last Round Podcast.
All right, so what a wild event after the Chavez Jr. Jacobs fight here in Phoenix, Arizona. We have a special guest here on the Last Round, the bonus show. The one and only Elie Seckbach is here, who's probably the most, the most hustling person in the game. You know, whether people like it or hate it, he hustles the most probably in the game.
He was a trendsetter.
He's a trendsetter. So, Elie, we appreciate you jumping on.
Thanks so much for having me. What a crazy night. I'm still excited. The adrenaline is still rushing. I thought Julio was winning the fight. Not sure exactly the extent of the injuries because I'm not him and I wasn't in the ring. But the crowd, 12,000 people came to see him.
Right.
Jacob, 3 people. And Mexicans in general, the Mexican culture, they don't like you to stop a fight. They'd rather see you get knocked out than stop. And that's why the beer started flying. There was beer showers everywhere.
Elie, when's the last time you saw beer thrown in the ring like that?
I have to remember, but I was at a fight, maybe Mexico in Tijuana, where they didn't like a decision. No, Pico Rivera.
Pico Rivera, the sports arena?
Fight, yeah, there was a fight not too long ago where it really was a whole brawl.
Oh, man. Well,
but you don't see it at this magnitude on a professional level.
No, right.
You see
a fight of this magnitude,
correct.
Of course. Did you have Chavez winning the fight or Jacobs winning the fight?
I had Chavez in the close, maybe up by a round or two. It was 6 rounds, right?
Yeah, they stopped in the 6th round, just after.
I had 3-2 going into the round.
So I didn't notice it, but my co-host Mike noticed it. Did Chavez wave the ref over and pretty much indicate that he didn't want to continue?
I didn't notice. I wasn't paying attention to that extent because I just thought it was a regular corner, just in between.
From what I saw is he went to the corner, and obviously most people tend to sit down, get tended to. He went over, kind of faced Freddie Roach. He kind of cleaned his nose, didn't sit down, had his arms up on the ropes, and then he kind of signaled to Freddie, was shaking his head. They called the referee over. They must have told the referee hey, I want to stop. The referee kind of looked shocked. It looked like he repeated it and then just waved his arms and just waved the fight off.
I mean, I think everybody in this arena was shocked. I mean, you can tell by the reaction of this Phoenix crowd. I mean, Arizona in general, Phoenix doesn't get really big fights. But when you get somebody with the popularity of Chavez Jr. and you get his father here, who was arguably getting bigger cheers than anybody else in the building.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. There's no such thing as bad publicity because everybody's going to talk about the fight. They're going to talk about Chavez. They're going to talk about Danny Jacobs. And they're going to talk about what a great night it was here in Phoenix until that happened.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
so one little, black eye shouldn't define the whole night, what you're saying?
Yep.
But do you think we'll see Chavez again?
That's the $1 million question that only he can answer. And when and where he comes back, I don't know. He made a lot of money tonight. And Danny Jacobs made a lot of money. Danny Jacobs did not look very good to me. He won, congratulations, but he didn't look like Danny Jacobs.
Right. Well, Elie, I mean, you're obviously you've been in camp with Chavez Jr. exclusively. You've been at his home here in LA. So you know him a lot better than some people. Just on your personal opinion, you think he comes back?
If someone's willing to pay him, yes.
Okay.
But if it's up to him, maybe
business.
no. It's a business, and if you get paid whatever you do for a living, someone's willing to pay you $5, $6, $7 million, you're not going to say no.
You're right.
Very hard. But it's going to be tough from this one, and he has to climb the rope up.
So you were with him quite a few days leading up to this fight. And from the pictures we saw on social media and everything, he looked good. He looked in shape. I mean, when you were with him, did he look like he was training hard?
No,
because he came in 5 pounds
when
over.
I was with him, yeah, but I don't know because I was with him for the first 2 weeks in camp and he was in great shape. He was almost on weight. He was doing great. I wasn't with him for the last 3-4 weeks, so I'm not sure what happened in the last few weeks. But in the beginning, going into it, he was ready to go.
Right.
And he's been training for 11 months, no break. So
right.
It happens. It's boxing. This is why we love the sport, for all the unexpected action. But stay tuned. Tell people where to listen to the podcast.
At The Last Round 12 on Twitter, Instagram, and you can find us on Spotify,
Apple
Podcast, iTunes, all the good respectable ones. If we're not there, they're not respectable.
All right, perfect. Guys, check them out. So there you have it. Stay tuned. VSNewsReport.com. Elie Seckbach reporting. I go get my ride before I get stuck in Phoenix.
Thanks for supporting and listening to the show. Follow us at The Last Round 12 on social media. Rate, review, and subscribe. This is the Last round